What is going on, everybody? Nazdarachi coming at you today, the beginning of the 21st episode of the Dragon Ball Legends podcast. As always, audio check. Let us know if you can hear me and everyone else up there and over to the side. We're trying something a little bit different today. Trying to throw shoulders and bows with the Doken podcast. Get some face cams up. So why don't you go ahead and take the floor, Palmzar, as our host with the most.
Thanks, Nas. So yeah, welcome back everybody to Dragon Ball Legends Podcast 21 on 5-9 Gaming. Today's episode is called Imperfect Mediocrity. And before we start, as always, make sure that you check out all our social media outlets. So just type !Linktree in the chat and find us on Reddit, Facebook, Discord, Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, and whatever else we have that I don't think of right now. You'll find it all there. With that said, today's guests are Tom.
What up?
We have Brad.
What up?
You can see Goresh.
What's going on, everybody?
Now you already heard Nastarachi.
Hello.
We are also joined by Prof.
Hello.
Oh, you
and
copied me.
ZBG.
Well, go on.
All right, so today's topics are obviously the two new Zenkai units, Zenkai Frieza and Zenkai Cell. We are going to talk about the Cell event. We're going to have a quick look at the Awakened Your Essence is Mine equipment. Then there is the fact that friendship rank actually means something right now, and we're probably going to speculate a little bit more about 1,000 days. And with that said, we're going to start it off with the Zenkai Frieza, and who better to talk about a Frieza than obviously Goresh. So take it away.
All right, so let me pull him up here, but there's a bunch of things we could talk about here. He's obviously very good. He's not like crazy good, but I think he's probably around the level that they should aim to make these newer Zenkai units. I think when you take a look at someone like 18 or Gohan or even Super Saiyan 3 Goku or Gogeta, I think they're a little bit too good. I think we can all agree on that. And especially for a tag like Lineage of Evil, who, they're not really in the worst spot ever, but they're not really like, dominating the meta right now. I think they could have used like one of those dominant Zenkais, but they chose not to do that. And it can be viewed as sort of a good or bad thing. I think when you take a look at this Frieza and you compare him to somebody like Super Saiyan 3 Goku, because I think that's probably his closest comparison that you could make between him and another existing Zenkai unit. The one thing that separates this guy from somebody like him is that this Frieza doesn't really have a consistent way of drawing cards, doesn't have a consistent way of getting key on switching, which is what that Super Saiyan 3 Goku is basically notorious for doing. This Frieza does those things, but it's only against Saiyan. So I guess that kind of makes sense, but I would have preferred if they would have made him just more so all-around useful. But on the other hand, like I just talked about, I mean, there's a good argument against doing that. You don't want to keep making these Zenkais just being like mega oppressive. So, there's like one camp where people are like, oh, I wish they would have made him this way, and there's one camp where people are like, I wish I would have made him this way. So I feel like it could go either way. He's definitely okay. He's not like, insanely good, but he's more than usable if you have him at a decent star level, and like the missions are there, so if you're a Lineage of Evil player, you can easily get him to the level where he's good. And I don't really have too many complaints about him, other than the fact that I personally, as a Lineage of Evil main, would have preferred if he was a little bit more well-rounded and not super specifically good against certain tags.
I think his adept passive, which I have highlighted on the screen right now, is probably one of the worst things about him. I don't know what you feel about it, but it's the one that applies the effects, but you have to wait 30 counts before you can get them. I think that's a major detractor just in this meta, because after 30 counts, a lot of the damage for the match could have been done. But outside of that, I think everything else is, like Gresh said, it's pretty well rounded if you're matching up against a Saiyan specifically, or at least if they have at least one Saiyan on their enemy team.
I don't think it would have like broken the game if they gave him that exact unique ability without any restriction, right? Like, does anybody disagree? Does anybody think that one unique would have broken the game?
That's not even worth a unique by itself. Like 20% damage and -5 to arts cost. What? Why is that a passive? Like,
if it was like 40%, we'd probably be in business.
Yeah,
and shorten it
20?
to like 15 counts. 15 counts, 40%, we'd be good.
Yeah.
It really feels like they're trying to pull their punch with this character.
Yeah, to me it does as well. I think, like, okay, if they want to give a 30-second timer count restriction for something, that's fine. But at least make it worth getting to. Like, when you get 30 timer counts, you don't really feel the difference. This unique doesn't, like, all of a sudden show up and activate, and it's like, oh, yeah, now he's really good. It's like, it doesn't really matter that much.
The only reason why
20% extra damage.
I think they shot him in the foot like this, which someone brought up, I think was a good point outside the podcast, was just that the Lineage of Evil team by nature has a lot better and more synergistic support than like the Saiyans or Son family team does. So just by swapping around with, Cooler and having LF Frieza on the team alive, he's going to get just a lot more straight out the gate than what Super Saiyan 3 would. I don't know. That's like the justification that I basically heard. Yeah. That makes the most sense as to why.
It does make sense, but I would also then argue, the Saiyan team is like 100 billion times more deep than this team is.
That's true.
This LOE team is a solid roster. And what the thing I liked about the team a lot is that you can bring like 5 units in your team that are all usable. You can even bring 6 units in your team that are all usable, and like you can pick any of those 6 units to bring into battle, not just like the 3 designated ones that you have in your team that are the main units. But Saiyans have like 50, so that's the other argument you can make there.
Yeah.
Yeah. One thing that I don't like about his first unique actually that you unlocks at Zenkai 3 is that you have to have 1 dead team member on your team in order for Frieza to heal. Because if you're running, like I was trying to run him with LF Frieza and with Cooler, and if one of those 2 dies, most of the times people are going to try and focus on killing Cooler with a Rising Rush, and then you have him and LF Frieza left. It's kind of meh. Now you don't have the crit buffs. He still puts out some damage, but I feel like there's not enough healing going on in LOE. And overall, my opinion is that he alone doesn't make the team really viable in my opinion. I think that's just, we need to wait for a potential like Metal Cooler or Zenkai or something down the line to see if that team kind of comes back to the, at least S tier or something.
Something else has been kind of flying under the radar that nobody mentioned is the Zenkai ability buff buffing powerful opponent yellow. So in the future, he could theoretically be used completely outside of the LOE tag on a team with powerful opponents, and be Zenkai buffing them. So that's something interesting to know.
I think the reason why they did that is to make up for his horrible Z ability. Like, they should have just changed it. Like, I don't understand why they didn't just... They should have just added LOE to this, and that would have been good. Like, yellow and LOE, base strike and blast defense during battle. That's it.
We've seen them change the abilities before with the red Super Saiyan Vegeta, because he originally buffed red units only, but they buffed him and then they gave him Vegeta family as well, so I don't see why they wouldn't give this Frieza LOE. Like, it's not gonna change that much. Well, it's gonna make them better, of course, because like they're gonna get buff from him, but it's not broken in a sense, right? It's literally just a Z ability.
I didn't even think about that. Vegeta, yeah, that's true. He got the old school buff.
Yeah, because those units that had their Z abilities changed were like the old balance change units, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there was a couple of them too.
I feel like this because this is the first Zenkai. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think this is the first Zenkai unit that's buffing a color, and that's it.
Yeah.
So now we know if in the future, like if this guy didn't get his Z ability changed, then probably nobody is ever going to get their Z ability changed. So can pretty much shoot that theory out the window now.
Yeah, I felt like that after they went to Android 18 and they gave her the yellow Android tag. It really felt like they were taking her and almost like crippling her and her future viability on the bench, because unless you're running, the 321s or an 18 squad, she's kind of Zenkai buffed the yellow cell and that's about it, right? She's not really going to slide into an Android team as naturally as other units.
Yep.
So, I don't know. I feel like that's the route they're going.
I didn't Zenkai him yet, but I think this guy will always take the slot over full power Frieza, right?
Yeah.
He's not the best Zenkai, but he's definitely better than full power.
Yeah.
No,
I agree, but I think that's not really a high bar to have right now, is it?
Yeah, and then that's only consistent until full power Frieza then also gets his Zenkai, in which place it'll immediately swap back, right? So.
Well, would you even bench this button? Like, if I would think, bench him for full power Frieza, but his Z ability is literally worthless to 2 out of 3 units, even if you're trying to pull that off. Like, making it yellow. Yeah, it's like it's a huge order to try to get maximum viability out of this Frieza. For the time being, like as Goresh said, it's not a high bar to clear to say, oh, this is the best in slot, yellow for LOE. It's just, I don't know. Yeah. I felt like they could have, given him an extra 30 to 40% damage through his passives, and it wouldn't be oppressive. It would just make him feel correct. You know what I mean?
I feel like all they had to do was just not make that one. Which one is it? The first unique, where he,
50%.
Well, no. The drawing one card and then restoring 30 key. Just make that universal and he's good.
Yeah.
That's all I have to do.
Oh, gosh, yeah. Or if trigger versus hybrids as well. Like, just Saiyans is such a restrictive category. Like, yes, there's a lot of blue, purple Saiyans running around right now, but you run into a future team and, like, what we're seeing on camera right now, there's only one unit that can proc that.
Or a region team or Android team. Then he's going to be like... Don't proc at all.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of teams right now that have units that aren't Saiyans. Like, Female Warrior is like a decent team you could run. Future has the Cell. They have Trunks who are hybrids. They have, there's androids. A lot of these teams right now that exist aren't necessarily all going to be Saiyans. Regen is a tag that's always going to be good. It's not Saiyan based, right? There's not going to be a Saiyan on there.
Yeah.
So I would say like at least half of the teams in the game right now have a big presence. Don't have Saiyans on them. So when you're locking this unit behind being like really good versus only Saiyan, it's really going to hurt his longevity because he's just not going to be consistently good in every single match, which is something that you need in this game.
You know, if you're buffed yellow powerful opponent with his Z ability and not just his Zenkai ability, if they actually touch that up, you could have them, you know, stored away as an option just in case you found a Saiyan heavy team, right? But if you choose to go that path right now, then you're either guaranteed to run Frieza or you're losing your bench capabilities, and that's the most disappointing part for me. So if they touched his Z ability up, they wouldn't need to touch the rest of the kit. It could just be your answer to Saiyans, but
the most disappointing thing to me that I felt like is the thought process that they had, right? Because like you take a look at the last unit one of the last units to get a Zenkai, and it was Blue Trunks.
Yeah.
Blue Trunks released for a team that was already like arguably a top 3 team in the game, maybe even top 2 in the game in future, and he's designed to be ran on that team. And they made him like very clearly too good. Like he doesn't need to be that good. And then when you come to LOE, which is a team that honestly needs help right at this point. Again, they're not bad, but they're not like, you know, just absolutely destroying the meta right now. And then they go ahead and give him this. They give the Yellow Frieza this treatment. So it's just like, what's the process behind the design in this unit compared to when you design Trunks? Like, what were you going into this wanting to accomplish? And I don't really understand it.
I think it's because of the support from LOE, because like Blue Cooler and Yellow Frieza both support the team. So I feel like they took that into account and they made him not as good as he would have been if the team didn't have any support. But that's just my theory on it. I don't know, but it would seem that way because like Blue Cooler amplifies his Frieza a lot. Like you can feel the difference when he dies. So that's just my theory on it.
There's also
go ahead.
It's extreme speculation, but I mean there's a degree of predictability in that it's going to be Red Cooler or Zenkai Yellow Frieza next. I mean, they might not, but it seems like if they go down the trend based off that video, they might be considering all 3 units at the point, you know, that they designed them all at. So maybe we're about to see a really nasty team surface, and you know, Yellow Frieza needed to be tuned down. But maybe I'm getting ahead of myself, getting excited for it. But I don't know. As EVG just said, if you Zenkai the purple Frieza and Metal Cooler, we might just have a monster on our hands.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. That just because they already know what's coming down the line. So with that, you know, knowledge of planning, yeah, they might just have toned them down to account for the, you know, the overall team build. And I mean, it's the same as when, you know, Demon King Piccolo released and, you know, there was no other region unit, I think, or Red Cell or something like this. We'll see, I guess. Brad, what do you think? Have you played him?
No, I didn't even use him. I didn't Zenkai him. I'm just saving because I haven't played LOE in months. Like, I like LOE, but it's just not like my favorite team. So I figured if there's one I'm gonna skip, it's just I'm gonna skip this guy. Focus on other Zenkais that are out right now.
This is like a prime example of one you can skip. So
yeah, I don't think he's super essential. I have a 14-star full power Frieza, and if I really want to run LOE, he does okay. Like he's not great, but he does all right.
Yeah.
And if you really want to, there's always the missions, right? You can pick up the missions if you want. But again, I think it's probably more worth it not to do it for this guy specifically because he's not good enough to warrant it.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can always wait for the banner to come back and then just do the dailies, right? And then at least within 2 weeks or 10 days, you get him to a Zenkai 1. And if the banner's there for 2 weeks, you know, just slowly do it with the dailies discounts.
Yeah, that's a good option too. I mean, I just did Trunks because Trunks felt like okay, I need to actually have this guy. Like, I like Vegeta family in future. Like, but then when I looked at this one's kit, I was just kind of like, I mean, I could just refresh my energy to get, refresh my Chrono Crystal to get CC for, I could speak, to get energy to run these events to get the free Zenkais and stuff like that and save a little bit in the end, but I'm not even going to use them, you know? So.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so yeah, if you're an LOE main, then yeah, probably you should Zenkai him.
You've had a hard year if you're an LOE main.
Well, yeah, but if you're any other player, like, and you're kind of on the fence about it, I would probably recommend not doing it. We see how often they release these Zenkai units, and the question is, can you really afford to Zenkai everything? And the answer is no. So when a unit like this comes up, who is like not great, but he's not bad, he's kind of like in the middle of the road, you don't really want to prioritize these ones. You want to prioritize the ones who, you know, we've tested out, we know for sure they're going to be good. They're on tags like Future, who are constantly getting new units. They're on tags like Saiyans, you know, Sun Family, Vegeta Family, these tags that are constantly getting new units. Those are the Zenkais you want to prioritize, because they would potentially open paths for you to be able to build teams that are not just the one that you're focusing on right now. Like Super Saiyan 3 Goku is obviously a Saiyan, he's Sun Family. Good investment there. But for this Frieza, you know, he's going to be a powerful opponent unit, but how good is that team eventually going to end up being? It's not really clear right now, so it's kind of just like a gamble if you invest in this guy right now, I would say.
He's probably decent with Jiren, I would imagine, right? Probably wouldn't be terrible. But
if we're talking about LOE mains and the assumption that the Cooler gets his Zenkai, they're gonna strip the team of 2 Z abilities, because I think that Cooler has only 1 defense buff, right?
Yeah, it's blast defense. It's really bad.
Yeah, if you run both of them, this Frieza and the Cooler, then you're missing out on a lot of Z ability.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing we were complaining about when they revealed this guy. We were just like, okay, please update his Z ability, because it's going to suck if you don't.
I have no idea why they didn't just do that. Like, they've done it before, just add it in. Change the code.
That applies, even if they pull a fast one and switch from the red cooler to the older green one, like, he's still the same problem, because his Z abilities for what movies, right? Not even LOE or...
Oh my god.
I mean, then I guess that could be great for the movies team if you want to sub him in instead of the green Broly, but it's not going to do LOE any favors.
Yeah, I like the Z ability. Like Trunks, we just talked about how great Blue Trunks is, right? He has the same Z ability, it's blast defense. Gohan only provides blast attack up to 35% if you finish him, if it's even that high. If their Zenkais are strong enough, I don't think the lack of a Z ability is really going to hold them back. It's definitely going to be annoying, but that definitely didn't stop the hybrid team. So
yeah, but at least they buff the tag of the team they're on. Like Frieza's just out here buffing yellow units, which his team doesn't have any other ones of on it.
the biggest thing about hybrids is that they're all supporting the team in some way. Like they all in their kits, they all have built-in ways to support their team. With this Frieza, he's coming in and he is designed to be like the beat stick of the team. So when you switch him out, you know, your other units aren't really benefiting from what he's doing. Whereas with someone like Red Gohan or Blue Trunks, they all have ways to support the team. Trunks has the sub count reduction, he has the support in his main ability. Gohan obviously has like the crazy support from his uniques. So there's ways that they're able to support the team outside of their Z abilities. Whereas with this Frieza, he doesn't do anything. So
yeah, he gives 25% damage when he uses his ultimate. I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah,
and secure recovery.
I think, I mean, we'll get into his tactics, I guess, later, but that is probably the one thing I noticed that I really liked about his kit, is that if you pop his ultimate early, it's like, what, 40 timer counts? Something really long, that the whole team gets a huge damage increase. But
yeah, it's kind of like...
Goten?
It's kind of like Purple Goten, yeah, I was about to say that.
Yeah.
But obviously this is more general, whereas Goten's, I think, is just for Gohan units, right?
But, you know, if we... big if, but, you know, we get a... LF Frieza Zenkai, who's already giving permanent buffs until he kicks the grave, right? And then we compound this Frieza's ultimate on top of it. I feel like we very well can get a good runaway train situation if they keep getting more buffs. Now, that's me being hopeful, because as you mentioned, hybrids have this, Saiyans have this. It feels like every other team, if they can get the ball rolling, they get it rolling, but LOE doesn't have that. So the most they have is Cooler. I mean, he's been around for forever. That's clearly not the defining factor here. So I'd really like to see the prediction come true with those other two Zenkais and bring some more oomph to the table. And this unit can start to shine again. But I think we keep coming back to the fact that if you have to bench him, he's not providing anything to the team. So that's my big crippling factor here for him. If his Z ability buffed yellow powerful opponent, not even LOE, I think he would be perfect.
Well, yeah, that never used to be like a massive issue, like way back when. But now, I mean, like every percentage you can get matters when you're fighting all these other Zenkais and stuff. Like it matters massively. It used to be like whatever, you just run some random team. I mean, I used to bring like pure Saiyans with like DBS, Broly, and Green Scouter Vegeta, and that was like a decent team. So, yeah. But now, yeah, like you said, it doesn't, not buffing that whole team, it doesn't seem like a huge issue, but like it really, those percentages compound and it really starts to matter.
Yeah, that's usually when I say, like, it's a good offset when they make the unit ridiculously good, and he has a poor Z ability, so you're making a sacrifice for the overall synergy of your team for bringing, like, a mildly overpowered unit. But he doesn't, he's just, like Gresh said, he's just kind of middle of the line, you know. If his buff didn't have a 30-second gate, if it had bigger numbers behind it, if he actually performed, you know, a little bit more like the Yellow 18 or the Blue Trunks or the Red Gohan even, but, you know, if he was even 3/4 of what they were, it wouldn't really be an issue. But I think the problem just comes in where his Z ability is a little bit poor and he's kind of hyper specialized versus Saiyan matchups only. So overall, I don't know. Like, yeah, his value on his chart of Zenkais would probably be like in like the middle range, basically, just like, again, Gresh said. Because as soon as LOE gets 2 more Zenkais that are even marginally better than this one, he would just be like a bench unit, but he doesn't even bench well. So that's why I would maybe withhold going crazy. It sucks, again, for people that really like running LOE, because you might have to wait a little bit longer, but eventually they will get power crept with a bunch more Zenkai units as well, and you may have not needed to spend resources on this one in particular because poor synergy. That just depends on your patience levels and what other teams you can run in the meantime, I suppose.
Did anyone grind the new Awakened equipment they released for Frieza Force?
Awakened equipment? What's that?
Did you?
No, I didn't. I did not.
Scam
know.
thing. Wait, but which equipment is that?
It's the Final Form Frieza one. Let me pull it up.
Yeah. You thought I'd let you get away, right?
Hold on, I'm gonna pull it up. I know what it is. No. It's like the one that does extra damage versus Saiyans. Right?
Yeah,
it's on screen.
Also 30 time accounts.
The slot one is both attacks up to 15%.
God damn it!
Yeah, after 30 timer counts. Yeah, they're so scared, dude. It would be too good if it wasn't, right? It would just be too good.
It was too broken, bro.
13% is broken, but it's damage at least.
Wait, it's 13%? Oh my god.
13.
No, only up to 13%. 13% after 30 counts.
For people in chat that don't understand how long 30 timer counts is, your main ability that typically one-shots the opponent comes available at 25. So
yeah, and beyond that, most people have Rising Rush by between 15 to 25 counts also.
Yeah, this is happening after all of the major fireworks start flying. Like,
the one thing that actually is interesting for me on this one is the key recovery, just because the team has like ridiculous key recovery with LF Frieza's buffs and stuff like that. There's like so many ways for this team to get more key recovery that any key recovery you can get on equipment for this team is actually really valuable. But other than that, this is like kind of like mediocre.
Yeah, it's also not exactly high values for like his strike and blast attack or anything like this. Like the stats aren't
compared to other Awaken equipments where you see like 20% or something like that. 25.
I think there's a region equip that even gives you like 21.5%, and I think there's also this God Key equip that gives you like 22% blast attack. So having 15% is kind of just mid, which kind of goes in tune with his Zenkai, in my opinion.
They really try to do everything to nerf LOE this update. Like,
people should test this away. I'm not going to because I hate this system to the core, but people should test it and see if this one rolls lighter. Like, because the numbers may not be as high, I wonder if it's easier to get higher rolls without having to sit there.
What's funny is if you look at the other LOE equipment, like the one that comes to mind that's really good is the Vegeta Silver Awakened equipment. It's called Awakened Feast Your Eyes on this, number 1. The first slot is 2 to 6% to own strike attack for each Lineage of Evil battle member. That's really good because there's not much pure strike equipment for this team. then it also has Q recovery and blast attack. So like the team has equips like this, and then there's the other awakened equipment. I forget what it is. It's the one I spent like 300,000 medals on and couldn't get a single good one.
Gold second stage Frieza.
Yeah, that one. That one also has a lot of strike on it.
Up to 18% strike, and then
the last
another.
slot's also strike. Yeah.
Yeah, as long as you don't roll the defense, you get up to another 15%.
Yeah, but I mean, it's at least on the third slot, right? Imagine this: I turn you into scrap equip, where you have the first slot being the one that has 2 different stats, and you have to awaken it like this.
No, I know. Damn. But I'm just saying, like, the LOE has good equip options, and then they throw out this like garbage one, which makes no sense. So I don't know like why they did that.
I mean, I guess you can save rush medals by not using it.
Like, to be fair, we don't normally break the format like this, but a couple people in chat are saying that the third slot on this new Frieza equip rolls pretty easily. So that, you know, and that if the other slots roll pretty easily as well, maybe that's their trade-off for making it not as impactful, maybe? I don't know. Because you know how they do that. Trade-off. Behind the scenes, they tinker with these equipments, and some of them you'll sit there for like 1,000 chrono crystals refreshing it and still not get a yellow slot. And meanwhile, the next one you'll do it like twice, and then it's red. You know, Z equip. Boom.
Yeah. So like the previous 2 awakened equips for LOE were really good, and then this one's just like you're gating the equipment now. Like why?
Imagine they do that for Gogeta Blue. After 30 timer counts, he gets card draw speed.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Almost like adding it to your main ability, huh?
The community would go crazy.
But after 30 counts, you get it for 2 counts if you run like roll the worst stat.
No, the equipment is definitely not bad. I mean, it affects 5 different stats, but it's definitely not as up to par with some of the other awakened equipments is all. And the time gates on the last slot are very harmful.
Yeah. All right, I feel like it's time to move on to the other Zenkai that we got. And we have an X region main in here that can probably tell us a thing or two about what you think about Zenkai Cell, ZBG.
Okay, so I just read his kit today. No joke. So looking at his kit, like his kit is like very good. He has 110% damage to androids and is it Saiyans or hybrid? I think it's Saiyans, right? He also gets key when he comes in.
He wouldn't have fought any
like,
hybrids when he was in that.
Oh, so it's Saiyan.
Okay,
well,
so
it's 30% blast damage to Saiyan specifically on one of his passives.
Yeah, and he also debuffs enemy when he swaps out. -1 to arts card draw speed for 15 timer counts, and then -50% to health restoration. That's actually very, very good. But one thing I don't like about his kit, why does he have reduced damage by 15%? 15% is actually nothing. Like units who have 25% can't even use that. 15% for an EX, like it doesn't make any sense. At least let it be 30 or 25 at the very least, right? But I think the big problem with this cell is that Android 21 exists already. So you're gonna hardly ever use this cell at all because Future has blues already, Region has 21, Android has 21 too. So where are you gonna actually use this cell? Probably like co-op or something, I don't know, but you're generally not gonna see this guy in ranked PvP at all. But it's a 3,000 chrono crystals, so I'll take it. But also another thing, them making his event time gated is so stupid. Like just let it be permanent like all the other EX Zenkais. Because when 21 leaves, new players are gonna need a blue for like androids or whatever. So just keep this cell there so they have a placeholder. Because 21 is gonna leave in like 2 days or so. So just make it permanent. I don't get their thinking at all, but that's pretty much all I gotta say about this cell.
I think they left it at 15% damage reduction and 20-30% damage increase. The text on that is specifically when he enters the battlefield, and it's not uncapped. So if you have a situation in the future where we have more launch units that can force swap, you can double up on this ability. I expect to see that in kits coming forward, where we have units that force you into the second slot unit, and in that situation you could double buff them pretty easily. Yeah. Now it's 20 timer counts, so realistically speaking, you have 10 timer counts after you swap a unit out, and you're going to be on your current unit for 5 to 10 timer counts. So you might be able to cover change with 30% damage reduction and have a window of 60% damage increase. Now, I'm not saying it's the greatest ability, but I believe that was their thought process when they restricted it down to 15 and 30% respectively.
Yeah, but then you have to remember that there's an EX, right? So his stats are going to be lower than normal Sparkings, right? So at the very least, give him something to at least tank the Sparkings, right? 15% is not really all that too good, but I can see your point still.
Yeah, and there's also the other possibility that everyone knows about, but I don't hear people mentioning very often, is we've seen already the Legends Battle Royal EX only edition, right? And he's a blue Zenkai Extreme unit for regeneration and androids, so in that type of mode where you can't use 21, then this is going to be a much more attractive option. Now, granted, they don't do those very often. It's only happened like once or twice ever. But that doesn't mean that they're not planning. Like, we have no details on what this new game mode is. Like, barriers for entry, different team requirements for different stages. And if this event is not the same one as another new mode they were talking about for springtime, you know, we have no idea what their intentions are. So they're definitely intentionally Zenkaiing all these extreme units for a reason. And I'm being extremely hypocritical right now because I have not done a single one of them, just due to the fact I find them boring. But for players that are heavily invested in the completionist aspect of this game and being able to do restricted content in the future, I would probably highly recommend doing all these extreme Zenkais. You know, again, I'm not following my own advice, but generally I give the best advice when I myself am not following it. So there you go.
I kind of feel like they designed his kit as a counter for 18. When you scroll down, the minus card draw speed and damage to androids.
Yeah. The best thing about his kit is the minus card draw speed, because I don't think we see units do that on swap out. I know Frieza does it on his main ability and whatever, but on swap out, the unit that's on the field is gonna get debuffed, so you're not gonna be able to do long combos with them. So that's actually a pretty good unique ability right there. But it's just that 21 exists already. That's pretty much the only flaw I can see with this cell. Because he's a decent option if you don't have her, so I like it.
Yeah, if you don't have her, but then again, she was also free, so the only, I guess, excuse was that either you don't really play regen, or you didn't have energy at the time, in which case you might not even have energy right now because it's not been that long. And that's kind of a problem as well. It's just, it also almost completely drained my energy, so I had to use those weekend medals that I just keep religiously for cases like this when I really need energy. I was down to like 39 and I had 1,400 before.
Yeah, I know y'all are talking about the whole Android 21 thing again, but I'm just putting a bookmark in this conversation for when they come out with some type of restricted content where this cell is going to be your best in slot. Like,
yeah, but okay, so if he's going to be that, why is the event time gated? Because 21 is going to leave, right? So say for instance me, I don't have energy for 21, and what if I want to run regen or androids or whatever and I want to get this cell? He's going to leave too. So then I'm left with like nothing. Like, just keep. I really don't get it, but they must have something planned or whatever for this still or something.
Everybody in ZVG feels bad, man.
Because like when Palm told me that it was time gated, I thought he was trolling, and then I went in the game and it said like 18 days left. I'm like, 18 days left for EX Zenkai, and the others are there forever. Like, it makes zero sense to me currently.
Yeah,
but they might come out with something.
I agree. It doesn't make any sense.
They're gonna come out and say, "Oh, I'm sorry, we."
Roster of this stuff here soon, where they're just gonna be cycling them. Like, I'm almost starting to. Now we're getting these current events where they expect you to spend 100 energy, grab 1 platinum coin, and go out the door, right?
Yeah.
I have a feeling that they're going back to these kinds of events with the cell, and they're gonna have a huge roster of EX Zenkais in the future, and this is just the precursor to that. I think there should obviously just be one section for Zenkai, but I think that's where their headspace is right now.
Yeah, but I mean, right now we have the other Zenkais that are permanent. They're all kind of requirements for this Saiyans, whatever it's called, event in the specials tab, right?
Yeah.
Maybe once there are 2 or 3 more, they're going to just add another event for whatever it is, regen or androids, or I don't know what kind of units they're taking next.
It most likely will be androids if they're going to plan on doing that, because I think the green 18 would be a nice option, or like EX Jiro or whatever. Like, so I feel like androids might be the next like event for the 3 Zenkai. So I could see that happening in the future. Because there's a lot of EX Android events. Like, there's a lot of EX Android events, so we could see that.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, for me, I Zenkai 6'd him day 1, and then I just ran out of energy, so I just slowly finished him up, and I think I Zenkai 7 him today. I tried playing him last Wednesday when I played against viewers on our Twitch channel, and I had 21, swapped him out for 21.
Yeah.
And I feel like he was not putting in that work that I was hoping for. So
Yeah,
for me, definitely 21 is still the better option when it comes to just the region team for sure.
Yeah, so, but when you're using him in the LBR, I was like, his kit is too good for him to be doing that pitiful amount of damage. I think it's just because LBR, I was there. Just because LBR has everyone 14 stars, so he kind of gets shoved to the side when everyone is 14 stars and whatever. So in regular PvP, I can see him doing work. In Gresh's showcase, he went crazy. He went crazy in that showcase. So it looks like in ranked PvP is where you would want to use him mostly.
Yeah, how did you feel about him, Gresh?
I mean, he's good. He's pretty one-dimensional, other than the debuffs he does, because I think that's actually pretty important. But, like, the damage he deals, he's very blast-oriented. Nothing really strike-heavy is going to work, unless you, like, I guess supplement that in terms of the Z abilities you bring in your team. But, I mean, as you can see in this video, I went super heavy blast-based, with Trunks and Vegeta both are blast-based, plus the Cell himself. I feel like the Future probably is his best team to use him on, because you obviously have the two supporting units. I mean, Trunks isn't a support unit, but he can function that way in terms of the sub-count reduction in his main ability. But Vegeta is just like, anytime you can use Vegeta to help show off a unit, like, it's just going to make him look so much better.
Yeah, that's also true.
Yeah, but I think he does function pretty well on this team. This team doesn't really debuff the enemy that often, so I mean, that option that the Cell has to do that definitely helps him. Overall, he's okay. He's not like, you know, dominating the meta, but he's solid.
Dude, I just wish that they made his event permanent. Because like he's a decent replacement for 21 if you manage to either not get her or whatever reason else. Like, he's a decent option for that.
Yeah. Right. No, I agree.
Yeah, I guess that sounds like that's pretty much everything we want to say about Cell, because yeah. We also started talking a little bit about this event. So yeah, one of the things that ZVG definitely said is that, you know, the time gate doesn't help it. Brad, what do you think about those map revamps? How do you like those?
So we're talking about the ones that would go like left to right, and then you have like hard and normal.
Like the XL one right now, for example, exactly.
I mean, it's not bad. It's not like amazing either. I don't really care when they revamp it too much. I'm not like, ow, this is so much better. I'm excited to clear this. It's like, it's about the same, you know.
Not?
Yeah.
But I do like that you can just go, like, it's not hard to, like, figure out what you want to do, because you just got to clear one road. Instead of, like, oh, let me see, all right, what are the rewards on this one? Okay, this one's souls.
Yeah.
Okay, this one's super souls. And they started labeling it now, so it's gotten better and better. I don't know, I mean, it's pretty neutral. I don't mind it.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing that I like is, and we're going to talk about that equip in a little bit, but I like that you can now farm the memories for that Awaken equip rather than having to use rush medals for it, because that's a resource that is becoming more and more scarce for me, having to kind of prioritize between Zenkai souls and the Awakening memories when, I don't know, you just throw a ton of them in the toilet by rolling like E-equips for that. So making that available, I think that was a good first step, and I hope that they're going to do that more often.
Wait, they put the memories for the equips in the event?
Yeah.
That's honestly a pretty good change.
Yeah, it's the very last stage before it branches off as the memories for the Essence is Mine equip. And
it's basically why I feel like they only the reason why they did 2 Awaken equips this update instead of just the 1.
Yeah.
And I feel like they did this for Turles, I think, with his event. I think his event also dropped the memories for his Awakened equipment as well.
Could be.
Yeah.
I must have played PvP at all then.
Yeah, the Fruit of... I think if you take a look in the shop, it's probably not even in there. The Fruit of the Tree of Might memory. Maybe it's both, but I remember his event did have that as a drop.
I think the same for the Super Warriors.
They should do that for every event.
Oh yeah, the Ultimate Challenge equip, of course.
They should do that for every event. Every event they should have that in there. They farm the memories for certain equips. That's a really nice touch.
Yeah. I would rather spend energy than rush medals, for sure.
Yeah. Rush medals are already scarce enough with the Zenkai souls and whatever nonsense.
And then also the Zenkai Awakening Z power. If you're not stupid and like me and forget that it's there and just summon 7k crystals for LF Piccolo.
do you guys think that they should like increase how much rush medals you get from USDR or
I mean, aren't they changing that up supposedly?
They're changing the banner.
Well, they're changing up the banner. Hopefully they I just would prefer there's a whole different system for it. Like if they want to have a nice banner and give us Zenkai souls for staying up to date every 2 weeks, that's cool. But yeah, putting these items in there and then you have a random chance of just, do I Zenkai my unit easily or do I just get nothing and maybe get a C? Like it is very demoralizing. Like I don't know. I like the idea of them putting them into the missions, but yeah, they've got to overhaul it more than just the banner.
Because like you get 60,000 or something every USDR. 70? And that's not even enough to like Zenkai a full unit. Because like I did it for chunks. And it's like it stops at Zenkai 6. And I had to use regular souls to get the rest of the Zenkai souls anyway. Right, so I feel like they should like increase it a little bit, but not too much, because like there's so many things you have to buy. You have to buy the stuff for the awakened equips. You gotta get the left Zenkais. You gotta get Zenkai souls and all that nonsense. So I feel like they should increase it just a little bit, around like 90,000.
So maybe I'm misreading it then. So whenever you read through the news right here, and it says awakening Z power exchanges will end 2/23, and I'm assuming that means for USDR because it's USDR changes. It all changed on like the 23rd, which is coming up in like a week, 10 days, something like that. But that would mean the LF Z power is moving out of there, moving to somewhere else, right? So we wouldn't be using those on that anymore.
Wait. It's so.
Check the news.
This is gonna be a whole other thing. Where's it gonna go? Where's it gonna go now? That's what I wanna.
I don't know. I mean, well, they're moving a lot of different stuff out of there. So, rush medals will reset. Rush medals will be tradable at a different exchange shop. Awakening Z power exchanges will end. I couldn't find this anywhere on DBZ Space or Twitter. It's only in the news in game.
Watch it be worse. Watch it take out those stuff and make it harder to get.
Well, I mean, the only positive I see to it is I just don't understand the rush medals be tradable at a different exchange shop, because what's the point in having the USTR exchange shop? Like, whatever, it's fine. I don't know. Well, I guess we'll have to see what happens with it. But if that does make a decent change, you know, like we don't have to worry about the LS being exchanged that way, and the LS have a different way of doing it now. If you clear an event or something, and you just get their Z power that way, and then you can use this only on Zenkai souls, it could be a decent change, you know. But we'll have to see. Time will tell.
I agree. They definitely need to move some stuff elsewhere or make it.
Yeah, there's too many things coming out of there. Like I can't be doing equips, Zenkais, and like all these different things, like equip rerolls, awakenings. It's like I all from one currency that I have this finite amount of. Okay, I got you. Like,
I mean, as it stands right now, I think the game has just too many shops anyway. So if they want to just condense it somehow, that would probably be better.
Let me see.
Imagine being a new player and going to the exchange shop menu and it's like 70 different shops. Like it's annoying.
Yeah, and it's like, where do I get this stuff from, and what do I have to do, and what do I prioritize? It's just daunting as hell.
Well, I feel like you should go to a unit and be able to figure out everything you need on how to upgrade that unit from that page. You know, if you go to the boost panel, if it says you need the Zenkai souls to unlock this, I can't tell you how many times someone asked me, how do I Zenkai a unit? And for us, it's very, very obvious. To the casual player that just picks up Dragon Ball and wants to see what's going on, this is a lot to try to sift through. So I agree with any kind of consolidating it all down to one shop, making it to where it's, we don't even have to singularly tap all the boost panels anymore. They can definitely make it a little easier to get a hold of the Z Awakening, or a little more direction on that. I don't know. I was kind of thinking if they remove it, I'm hoping that they bring back one of the shops with the 20cc summons on it. But, I mean, maybe that's a little too grandiose to try to finish out these units. But I wouldn't mind something like that returning. Right now we're getting them, I guess, for free. But if you're hunting the items, you're having to pick and choose where you're spending your resource. So I don't know. I just an entirely separate resource for free Zenkais. It's something. Just don't make me have to spend my item resource on this.
Yeah, that's the biggest issue. I think that's what they're doing though with the change. I will say the one thing, when it says they will reset on the 23rd, does that mean whatever USTR medals we use right now, we just got to use them? Like, we're just going to go back down to 0? Because they're changing to a different currency?
Oh no, I would be shocked if they punished all the players that didn't spend their currency.
Yeah.
I'm sure
I don't think so either, but
I think what's going to happen is if they're going to change the currency, it's going to be the same as with the energy tickets, that you're going to have an exchange shop where you can just trade them in for the new currency.
And like the recycle thing or whatever.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so with that event, there was Tom's new favorite equip. Tell us a little bit about the Awaken Your Essence is Mine and why you love it so much.
This is basically my most favorite equip I ever grinded. For those of you that use Androids or region with 21 or the new cell, the EX Cell, this equipment provides double defenses at a very high amount. Like, what is it? 30 to each? If you have it maxed out?
20, 20,
20.
20 and 20 on the first two slots, and then the third slot is each of them again at another 12.5%. So a maximum of 32.5% if you were to have like a perfect equipment.
Yeah, and Android 21 basically serves as a support or defense unit for me, at least on the teams I use. And this is a must-have equipment in my opinion. I tried to get a gold first slot. I wasn't happy about the rates on that equipment because the best I ended up with was 17.8 in the first slot, and I used
so close.
60 plus tries for that equipment. I'm out of the blue shots, so I don't think I'm gonna get there with the gold first slot, but this is amazing equipment. So if you have the resources, go for it. Definitely.
Yeah, it took me about like 50 to 60 to get like a red first slot. I think I have one with a golden first slot, but again, since for me, since you can farm the stuff from the event, I mean not the blue shards like the memory fragments or whatever they're called, but at least the memories themselves and the equip, that's already a huge burden off my shoulders, just because I don't need to use rush medals for that. Otherwise I probably wouldn't have even tried awakening it.
Yeah, the one thing I will mention about this equip is that this is one of the rare awakened equips that's like a direct upgrade over the original one. Because typically what they like to do with these awakened equips is they like to further restrict the amount of units that can use them. And that's sort of how they differentiate the awakened versus the unawakened one. This one is just the same condition, so it's just a better version of the old one. So if you're somebody who like, you know, has a fairly good roll in the old one, like a D of this, or even like a B, like a max roll B is probably going to be better than like an S of the old one. So just keep that in mind.
True. Like some that go from Saiyan to Saiyan Red or something.
Yeah.
For a long time I didn't even read that, and I just thought, okay, it's just going to upgrade the stats.
I think the reason why they did that with this is because it's farmable through the event.
Yeah, makes sense.
See, items like this make me nervous though, because when you hunt Z items of unawakened items, you know that this is on your horizon.
Yeah, it is.
Especially for the platinum ones.
Yeah, oh my gosh, everybody posting their Frieza and Majin Vegeta Z platinum items. I cry for their future when that item awakens and they realize that doesn't translate over.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, you could probably throw in like all S or Z equips and you just get an E out of it, right? If you awaken, it's completely random again, and that's just frustrating as hell. All right, I guess that was a short tangent over to equips. There's another thing that we just briefly touched on, is that all of a sudden friendship rank seems to have some sort of an influence on the game. For the new game mode, Prof, what do you think this could mean, and where else could they add friendship to mean something?
Well, I mean, as most of you have probably experienced this game, friendship only really mattered to level 10 when the Zenkai came out. And when they changed that, we stopped caring about friendship. I've piled all of my friendship into Gohan. I'm like level 50 something. So hopefully that bears some fruit. But I can't imagine it being too overwhelmingly impactful in this new game mode. I bet it's going to have like tiers. Like if you're between 45 and 50, you get, 2% stat increase per rank or something like that, right? It's going to be a big old hefty raid boss. It's just pure speculation, but I'm assuming it's just going to be a base stat total increase, and maybe if you hit a certain rank, you get a special sleeve, but that doesn't even make sense. Like, I don't know where they're going to go with this. Like,
It literally says advantage. Giving you cosmetics is not an advantage.
Well, I know, but I'm trying to think of a reason to push that far. Are you a big
fan of this? What do you think?
No.
Nas hates it.
This could potentially be pitchforks and torches level of debauchery going on their part, or it could be relatively nothing. But I think this is stupid. Like 2 years into the game, bringing in a friendship rank. This is something that people could have been working on this whole time, but now 2 years into the game, they're like, oh, by the way, having a high friendship rank is planned to be an advantage. Most of us, have just been screwing off with it. Like, I don't care about friendship. I know Gresh has gotten like Frieza to friendship 25 or 50 or something, but
it's like 120. But
25.
Yeah. Whatever. Most people, besides like Gresh and the dude out there that got Super Saiyan Bardock maxed out to level 250 friendship, don't care about. This is just dumb. Like, there's nothing about this that I like.
Well, if it's just a base stat total increase for PvE,
all my characters like friendship too, and I'm not doing friendship grinding.
Well, that's you.
No, I know it's PvE.
If
so hopefully
this is giving somebody, if it is just like some raid mode down the line, right? This is giving somebody a reason to get friendship. This is a cherry on top they can keep giving to their favorite unit to keep them viable within this game mode, assuming it is just base stat increases.
Garbage.
On one side,
they are not going to deny it.
Trash.
Wow,
because the friendship system, the friendship system should give you card backs, like shallot cosmetics, teach you some of the moves. It should not be directly applied to combat bonuses. That's just trash.
Jesus.
So I agree with Nas to an extent, because like it's so stupid that now they're telling us that oh look at this, friendship now has some use, and I'm in the same position as Nas. My units are like friendship level 2. So now I gotta keep in my mind that ZVG, okay, you gotta do the let's fight every day. You gotta get the friendship equipment. Yeah, I do. Of course, dude. It's a weird thing. It's a weird thing I do. It's a weird thing I do. But yeah.
Alright, so my blue cooler is 20. My green golden Frieza is 18. My LF Frieza is 114. And what else? We got full power Frieza at 25. What else is that level up? The pod one is at 10, and the red one is at 10. So pretty good for LOE.
Yo, Nas, what are you doing, bro?
I feel like that they can't possibly make this to where it's a requirement, right? The new unit comes out, you don't even get to use it in this new game mode if it is, right? It just seems like a way of bolstering up what would be an older unit by the time you can get it to. I don't even know how the hell you pulled off 100+, but he should be rewarded for that. He should be able to take that Frieza.
Not with battle advantages. Reward him by throwing some cosmetics at him.
This is like caring that some dude in an MMO has a bigger stick than you.
Yeah, but
it's ultimately petty, bro.
To make this mode fun. To make this mode fun, they should have like a leaderboard for it. Then you're gonna give people battle advantages for something that could potentially have like a leaderboard, some type of ranking, some reason to actually be fun and playable, and then certain people get advantages. Who didn't even know that they were getting advantages. They're out here just trying friendship because like, oh, I want my Frieza's numbers as high as possible. And like, oh, now retroactively, here's an advantage for you. What? Come on.
Come on. It's what about for the people that have been doing this for 2 years straight, hoping for that advantage to come? No
one was hoping
the
for
champagne bottles
I
probably
doubt
popped.
anyone was hoping like, okay, Legends are gonna release some new mode. I'm gonna use my level 250 Bardock in. Yes. Like, no, I don't think anyone.
Bro, that is his super best friend, if I'm not mistaken. I bet he's ecstatic for this.
Yeah, he already posted on Reddit.
Salt emote.
Okay, so one thing I'm gonna say is that they remove the friendship requirement for Zenkais, and I remember Nas specifically was upset that now the friendship equips have no use. Well, now they do have a use. So.
Yeah, what happened to that, Nas?
Yeah, what happened to that,
Nas? They can't figure out what they want to do with it, so they're just trying a bunch of random stuff. And battle advantages in the new mode is dumb. I will I will die on this hill. That's stupid.
Nas, if you go to the missions, there are specifically missions that give you CC for having friendship level 5 on certain units.
Yeah,
so if you are doing that, then it should be kind of easier for you, but it is what it is. It is what it is. Hopefully it's not some insanely powerful buff or whatever. hope like they can be so hit or miss with these things. I'm not gonna worry about it.
I'm pretty sure it's gonna be.
Yeah, I'm just gonna skip the mode. I don't know. They're trying new modes to try. Everybody knows that PvE in this game is awful. All right, I'm not even gonna sugarcoat it. So if they're trying some big swings to try and make PvE fun again, then adding barriers for entry like this is kind of dumb. It's
not barrier. You just complained that it meant nothing. Now it is about to mean something. No, it's a barrier because you don't have it.
Dude, no.
All right. I think before we completely derail and just looking at the clock, let's just move on to our last topic, and that is 1,000-day celebration. When and what? And Nas, you can just keep on talking because that's for you. So what do you think? When are we going to start?
So, Professor, that idea is stupid. All right, to continue on. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. We kind of talked about this last week, and nothing's changed. Like, they announced it to coincide when like the APK released early in Norway. Like that's when they started the announcement.
Yeah.
But the reality of the situation is the game didn't release on iOS for like, I don't know, was it 45, 50 days later? Maybe even more, a little bit?
I think it was like 2-3 weeks. I think it's 2 or 3 weeks.
No,
I don't think it was 45. 45 days, bro?
Android had months, like a couple of months of advantage on iOS. Yeah.
I don't remember. I remember weeks. I don't remember months.
I don't remember months.
I remember it being like 2 months.
Hold on, I can actually check.
I thought it was like at most 30 days.
I can actually check this. Hold on.
All right. Regardless, it's like pretty much in stone that we're gonna get something this week because both login bonuses end this week, right?
Yeah. And beyond that, that more aligns when Android and iOS would be getting the game, because that's not for another, the anniversary is in May, June, right? And that anniversary of the game coincides with when the app launched on iOS. That was their official date. So if they judge the 1,000 days roughly based around that date as well, then it's still falling into the proper timeline with them not having done anything yet. And in terms of what's
how many LFs we getting?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. In terms of what's coming, I'm hoping there'll probably be like a summonable LF, obviously. Then hopefully there'll be some type of collectible unit that's given to the 1,000-day players. Again, unlike having a high battle advantage for friendship, the unit they should give should just be purely like a collectible unit.
You did a good job moving on from it, Nas.
Not some OP mode-altering character that only 1,000-day players can have access to. It should just be something neat that's a gift. And, yay, those 1,000-day players get that. If that's too much, it'll probably just be like a special cosmetic for Shallot, like how the players that went to the tournament in Las Vegas received the Shallot varsity jacket in game. I could see something like that. And then beyond that, I don't really know. I mean, there's going to be a couple extra rewards for people that obviously have played the game for 1,000 days, but I do expect them to make a whole celebration out of this. It seems like it might also be absorbing Valentine's Day in as well, because I mean, normally right about now we would have a Valentine's Day banner with like 2 females units on it. But they didn't do that. They released Launch and Yamcha like, a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. And now we're sitting with nothing right now for Valentine's Day. Which, that could be indicative that they're just compiling everything into like one festival that's about to start here.
Dude, we all know how their celebrations go already. A banner, 2 times RP, and that's pretty much it. They're probably gonna give 1,000-day unit or whatever, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna be a banner. 2 times RP, some new raid boss that's gonna die in like 2 days. That's pretty much gonna be it.
That's a long time, 2 days.
Well, they might be starting this event too. Whatever this friendship gives you an advantage nonsense, this event might be starting with the 1,000 days thing also.
You don't think it's gonna be 1,000 times RP?
10 times RP? No, dude, imagine 1,000. That? Imagine that nonsense?
10 times RP. I mean, I don't know how much RP you need at the end of the season. 55,000 top 10k.
Dude, I'm not excited for 1,000 days at all. Like, unless they give some okay, so just a unit for 1,000 days and then whatever else, and I'm okay with it. I'm not expecting anything big or any new thing. We all know what's gonna happen already. The same old form. So,
what would you guys think if instead of them giving a unit for only people who got 1,000 days, they did a Rising Battle, but the people who have 1,000 days get the Zenkai Awakening power for that unit.
Well, but here's the thing:
they're going to give it to you so you can skip the grind, basically.
No. You can Zenkai the unit. Whereas people who haven't gotten 1,000 days yet can only just get the unit.
So basically, what I said, but a little bit mixed more with the 2,000 day version of the Goku from Doken.
Yeah, so that at least people can get the unit and just have it, even if you don't have 1,000 days yet.
I would be incredibly disappointed if now I have hit 1,000 days, so it's not like he's restricting me, but if players in the community will have a Zenkai unit that is inaccessible to PvP until they wait 2.5 years. like that there's two ways that they drop a unit, right? They give all the 1,000 day players the new fancy LF unit, and then as the free 1,000 day celebration, and they drop the new unit, you can go summon for it. And then for the people that hit 1,000 days 2 years from now, that unit's essentially worthless to them. Or you get a new Zenkai, and it truly is exclusive to 1,000 day players, and everybody that got caught up in any kind of banned wave or lost their account or anything is now locked out of that unit because they're not day one for X amount of months. Palm, I don't think your girl knows you're live.
Whoa. You're in the camera.
But
yeah, I was like, first of all, my cat came around, and now I'm getting stuff thrown at me. Sounds good.
Photo bomb.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, the only thing I can think of that would be fun for 1,000 day, air quotes fun, because it's ultimately going to be spent within the week, is just an excessive amount of resource. Like, every other solution other than cosmetics for Shala and card sleeves seems like
you didn't
have people up in arms.
Listen to my solution of a unit that's collectible but not ultra viable in PvP. Like, I want like a King Kai support unit that is not really something like, oh, let me bring King Kai to all my battles because he's so good. But, you know, he's just there. You have him in your box. Kind of like the King Kai title and the Master Roshi title that I wasted my annual wish on to get a useless item that can't even be used.
Hey, that is not a waste. My biggest regret is not picking up that title from the first generation.
I did it because I wanted it. So that's why I'm saying it's just something like that level of, oh, cool, it's something to collect for 1,000 days that I have that other people don't have, but it's not going to win me rank 1 in the like season 59 battle tournament. You know? Like,
I have an idea. What if we get Giblet for the 1,000 days, and the people that got the 1,000 days get a special customization?
Like what?
Alternate outfit.
That would be cool because, I mean, let me be honest, like, the story in Legends is neat, but it's not like super deep, right? So the trope of having one of the bad guys switch over to become a good guy, definitely something that I see them, you know, employing in their story writing. So if we do eventually get a playable Giblet who's also customizable, similar to how Shallot is, then yeah, that could be neat, I guess. You know, I have a feeling it's going to be like a customization for Shallot or something like that. That's 100%. My strongest feeling. Like, that's what they've rewarded, you know, the people that exclusively went to the tournament. The dude that won the tournament exclusively got another skin on top of the varsity jacket. It would only make sense that it would be like 1,000 day card back and customization for Shallot that the 1,000 day players get. Like, that's what makes the most sense and causes the least amount of waves in the community in terms of backlash for, oh, I can't get this. Like, well, if it doesn't really matter that much, then those people can shut up, right? And it's not going to make them quit playing.
Yeah, I don't know. It's been brought up. Like I said, I would be receiving it. It's not like I'm sitting there, you know, or I don't like this because I ain't going to get it. And I get what you're saying, like, if they drop like a Dende unit, and anybody that reads his kit would understand that this is a joke tier unit that you wouldn't ever possibly use them in PvP. That's still going to drive a lot of people insane that they can't have it. I don't know how Doken reacts to. I think they have like a Spirit Bomb Goku or something that's super rare for logging it forever. Like, I don't know how
you can only EZA him if you have 2,000 days logged in.
Well, how did the community receive that when he got his EZA?
Well, it's not a PvP game, so it's not as bad as it would be here, right?
Yeah.
Right. Well, I mean, essentially, NAS is bringing up the idea of a unit that's worthless for PvP, right? And
yeah, I think that's fine. I mean, I think making it like a unique like character, like King Kai, like he said, I think would still make people upset. So maybe it would have to be like some
generic.
not a generic one, but maybe a type of character that's already in the game, like maybe a new type of, I don't know, Gohan or something like that.
Chaozu.
We could get the golden or the silver Cyberman.
Ultimate 1,000-day Chaozu.
Chadzu.
Yeah, dude, Chaozu. There you go.
Do you guys think there's gonna be like any new battle change or whatever or anything like that? So for like 1,000 day, like anything gonna like change or whatever, like in the game
Things always
itself?
change. Yeah, I think something's gonna be different. Like you're talking about step up banner. I think the format will probably be different again. Yeah, they're still experimenting. It's very obvious. Like they went from one format to another format. The very next banner that was like 2 weeks later, probably gonna change again.
Someone also mentioned in casual conversation that, like, what if it was just like, oh, there's an LL unit coming, but the 1,000-day players get like their first copy of him for free.
Yeah, that was my idea. Yeah, that's in that last podcast, I think.
I mean, that's a good idea,
Yeah,
but it feels like
that's fair.
over time that would somewhat diminish because like there wouldn't be anything in your box to be like, oh, I've been past 1,000 days, because over time that would like everyone would get the unit, eventually have it, and then there'd be no.
I would not read the comments on that damn video.
What if it was
If I was like, hey, I got my 1,000-day LF unit. Hope you guys get me summon too.
What if it was just
suckers.
1,000 Legends tickets, so you could buy one that you want from the shop?
Except
Well,
that the
the ones in
ones
the
that you
shop
probably
are-
want are not in the shop.
The ones in the shop are terrible, bro. Like,
No, I know, but like if they updated the shop and did that.
Well,
Wouldn't be
I still
terrible.
need LF Frieza. I don't even have him yet, so I would take that and just pick him up instantly. So
I mean, they could give you 1,000 of just about every resource in the game, and I think those tickets would be the only one I would be excited for. Like the energy and stuff. I mean, that comes and goes, but those tickets would be. Whew, I would love to just pick a Legends Limited unit. That would be fantastic. Or just 600 Legends Limited multi-Z power even. Doesn't even have to chime in with 1,000.
dude, they need to have that banner every 3 months. 600 LFZ power, please. Every 3 months, just give us that shit.
4
Something like
copies
that,
a year. Let's go.
I think those are great closing words. So we're gonna take a quick break before we come back with questions. And before we go, if you want your questions read out in the podcast and discussed, make sure to keep an eye out on our Twitter, in our Discord, or on our Facebook page. And yeah, with that said,
most importantly, join the public Discord. We need to grow our army there. So everyone join the Discord. It's most important.
go for that. And with that said, we will be back in just 3 minutes and go for questions.
Yeah, you can tell Nas in the public Discord how much you like friendship. So
Yeah, that friendship sucks, bro. They need to pull their heads out of the ground
Dude.
and come up with a
Dude,
good
it's
idea.
Nah, so why are you so impressed, bro? Like, it's literally friendship.
It's just
dude.
it's just cherries on top, man.
Alright, let's
like
go
this
to
one
Josh.
kid out there is so
It's just dumb.
Dude, like, this man is so pressed about friendship for a mode he won't even play. He's not gonna play the new mode.
All right, welcome back, everybody.
what, is that not what it's gonna be?
All right, it's question time, I think. And the first question is coming from our Facebook group. We only have 2 questions there, so we picked this one. And the question is, what are some units that desperately need a Zenkai in your opinions?
Buhan.
Like all
Buhan,
the
thank
year
you.
one.
Toshi,
50% of the game.
Toshi,
Yeah.
you're watching this. Buhan, please, thank you very much. I will
Buhan
spend
is one.
$10,000.
Well, yeah, including what ZVG said, basically all the year 1 units up through the year 1 anniversary are desperately needed.
You guys already know what I'm gonna say, so I'm not even gonna say it.
What, full power Final Form Frieza?
No,
Icon.
Deborah.
Oh, yeah. He's
Oh,
a year
man,
1
he's
unit,
dead
so
on
yeah, he
arrival.
falls into that blanket.
Dude, this question is like is so broad because like 90% of the game need a Zenkai. It should have been which Zenkai would be the best right now. That's
Were the original Super Saiyan 4s in year
We're
1?
not grading his question. We're just answering it. Like,
Yeah,
I know
no,
it's not necessary right
a
now,
broad question.
but I really want a Zenkai 17 so we can get the 16, 17, 18 team.
The purple one would be cool, yeah.
They need a Zenkai Super Saiyan 4
Yeah.
Goku and Vegeta also.
The purple one would be fantastic for androids.
I want like a defense, like Super Saiyan 2 Goku, the yellow one. I want like a defense unit, like something that can actually eat some hits.
Ray
I don't
Chunks,
know
bro.
whoever.
Ray Chunks.
Oh yeah, Rage Trunks. Yeah, he did.
Oh, yeah, that man needs a Zenkai.
Thank
I
God.
forgot about my bad. I forgot about Rage Trunks. Yeah.
I mean,
think-
for me, it's got to be Deborah or Green Chi-Chi.
At
Chi
this
should be
point,
good. Wuhan or Gigi for you.
every single tag in the game at this point has access almost to at least 1 Zenkai, except for GT. GT has
Yeah.
nothing. Nothing.
GT doesn't
Give
exist.
up on GT, Nas. It's over.
GT doesn't exist. GT does not exist, Nas.
They made the characters, so they have to revisit them at some point. They can't just ignore it.
No, they don't.
So I thought of these units the other day because when we got the Frieza, buffing powerful opponent not being his traditional tag, right? How about the Kakunsa Ribriand units in Rosie getting a Zenkai for Rival Universe specifically on who they buff?
You're talking about like their Zenkai ability to be color / Rival Universe?
Exactly. Yeah. So I instead of girls, if they buff Rival Universe going into that, they'd give Rival Universe some Zenkai.
It gives you an alternate bench besides having to run the Trio de Dangers. Like you have Topo Jiren Dispo or Topo Jiren and Bergamo, and then you can use the 3 girls instead of Dispo and the 2 other wolves.
Dude, Aribia and Zenkai would be scary,
Dispo
bro.
and the 2 other wolves. You don't remember their names, bro?
Well, we don't need Rib at that locking all.
I think it's one of those. I think is Bergamo. I learned in my fight.
Yeah, Bergamo. Yeah.
No, that's the one I already said.
Livinder, that's his name. Livinder.
Livinder.
Yeah.
And Basel.
Someone in chat brought up the obvious GT, but if this comes true, right, and we get 3 LOEs in a row, I think they could do that with GT and hit us with 3 GTs in a row and just fix the tag.
6 units. 6. Not 3.
Yeah.
6 units. A whole overhaul.
You just do the whole profile, just sort by GT and go in a row.
This is always the argument that I always give for why GT is never going to exist as a team. Is because all the good GT units are just better on other teams. Like Super Baby 2 is better on Regen. Super Saiyan 4 Goku is better on Sun Family and Saiyan. So is Vegeta. Like the whole team is just better on other teams than GT. So if you make those units better, guess what? You're just going to use them on the other teams as opposed to GT.
No, they can upgrade their uniques when they get the 3rd and 4th, specifically GT. For GT.
Okay, yeah. If they do that,
only works
then sure. But they have to go out of their way to do that.
Unlock all uniques only for GT.
You know how powerful opponent kind of encompasses Region and LOE right now? We're starting to see all that stuff coming in. They could do the same thing with just accept GT's dead, keep the characters, and when you Zenkai them, make them flow into the powerful opponents or flow into the Saiyan teams more naturally. And then you can run your favorite Super Saiyan 4 Goku and not have to worry about GT being a meme. And if you want to run them all together, then sure, then collect them all, go for it. But
that's what happened when they came out, because they were good as a team, but they could also fit on other different teams too, so it'd be pretty fun.
Yeah, I think their Zenkai ability, or their Zenkais would, I don't know. It's just been too long of a meme. We're done with Gogeta Blue. We finally got him. Let's Zenkai the GT squad.
How anticlimactic was that too?
Yeah, this man, he's a Zenkai himself. He's a Zenkai himself right now.
Maybe that's the 1,000 days. Gogeta Blue Zenkai for 1,000-day players. How about that?
Imagine. That'd be so dumb. But so
just card draw.
I could see.
Gogeta Blue and Vegeta Blue Zenkai for 1,000 days.
Easy.
I'll take it.
All right, let's move on to the next question. That one is coming from, I believe, the public Discord. Yep. By Absolute0273. I think you're also in the chat. After the announcement of the removal of the Ultra Space Timer shop banner and revamp of the mode on the 24th, what do you expect from the new iteration? I think we touched on that a little bit. And what unit do you think they will include in the new banner and potential shop?
Hopefully they add all of the recent LFs instead of just Beerus and Super Vegito and Gohan or Gotenks or whichever one's on there. And then as well, they need to remove the shop, just like Goresh was talking about earlier, to start the process of consolidating shops. Like, there could be 3 tabs for the shop. Like, one that's just everything related to souls. Like, souls, Zenkai souls, super souls, all that stuff. And then the middle one could just be all the equipment stuff you need. Use your equipment coins, use whatever coins to get all the equipments. And then, like, the third shop could just be, boom, all the event-based shops. Like, when they come out with all these, do adventures and get sausages and all this other stuff. Just consolidate it to, like, a universal currency and buy it from the events shop tab. 3 tabs, boom, boom, clean it up, put all the energy in there, good to go. Nicely packaged, rush stuff all in there.
Don't want to exchange Lights of Hope and sausages anymore?
Well, they can all convert to like a universal currency that's just used for the event shops, right?
100%. You can still keep your sausages and all of that. Like, if it's a time currency that's deleted from your inventory at the end of the event, what do you care if there's only one of it on rotation? I mean, they could literally just be the event button, but I mean, imagine being a new player and you go through like the Kid Goku and the Trunks events and you're trying to distinguish between these medals. Like, there's just so much and it's so convoluted right now. I 1000% agree with Nas. It should be 3 different shops and then you just click, oh, I need equipment. This is where the equipment is. Click.
Yeah, and in the same vein as this, how cool would it be, and this is something that as the game ages and the UI kind of opens up, how cool would it be if all like Professor was just talking about like the Goku event or the Gohan event, Legends Road event. How cool would it be if it all converted to a universal currency and say you were done farming the Kid Goku, but his event, for whatever reason, is the one that's in rotation. You can continue to grind his event to get the universal currency to then spend it on the other event character. Because say you have one that you do, like you have 3 of them done, they're not going to rotate in anytime soon. But you know, you want to work on the Great Saiyaman, well, you can get the universal currency and apply it toward. It basically makes your grinding universal, and you can choose what you want to spend it on with the, you know, I don't know. I think it sounds like a better idea. Well, you can continue to work on stuff that'll benefit your account, even if other events are in rotation.
I mean, my only real issue right now is they have like 4 events up. You have to have 4 different teams to effectively farm all the resource from them on your dailies if you're kind of trying to min-max it or whatever. Those little buffs where you get the coins for owning the character or whatever. Should just be a freaking account buff. You have the character, you've unlocked it, here's your coins. Just tad note when you're talking about that, but as for the shops, yeah.
Yeah, shop consolidation. I know that's kind of a tangent off what this question was announcing, but hopefully it's a small part of a bigger step.
Well, yeah, but they're saying potential shop, and that's what we're asking for right now, is less confusion.
And then in terms of the banner rearrangement, just add all of the Legends Limited units up through, like, I don't know, all the banner before UI Goku or something to the USDR
No,
banner.
They should just add every unit in the game on the banner. That's it.
Yeah, that would be even better.
No, wait, like, let it be recent units. Well, actually,
no,
never mind.
Imagine you need yellow Frieza right now. I think it's Master Pack 1.
Yeah.
That's actually kind of hard to pull off now.
Yeah, you literally, if you want to summon on Masters Pack 1 to get this Frieza to Zenkai, you literally have to spend your platinum coins on Masters Pack 1 summon tickets, I think.
Like, yeah,
that sounds like a good
I like the idea of a giant blender banner that's just every unit in the game. They update it with each patch, right? You know, obviously it's not going to have Launch and Yamcha in it, but when they cycle units out, just start throwing them all in there.
And with the removal of the USTR shop, this is one other footnote that nobody's mentioned but would be extremely important. Like, when it comes back up, please add Beerus's Zenkai stuff to it. Like, he's Legends Limited, all the other Legends Limited units have been in there. Like, add Beerus. You retroactively added a LF to him, you can retroactively add him to the shop now, too, right? Please? Yes?
Yep.
Just like how they retroactively have added all the Zenkais to the Masters Pack Z banner, right?
Yeah, they should do that, too, probably, at some point.
So retroactively. All right, I think we can move on to the next question. And that one I picked just because I have the feeling that, I don't know, I find it interesting. Has anybody, so this one's from Zero Cool from Discord. Has anyone noticed that during PvP, depending on what team you use, will get paired against another certain type of team? Then if you change teams, you'll face an entirely different type of opponent.
I kind of see that, yeah. Like if I don't use Lineage of Evil for like 6 months, I'll use Lineage of Evil and then I fight like 3 Zenkai coolers in a row and it's like, what?
I think it's more or less like when you want to buy a motorcycle, suddenly you start seeing motorcycles all over town.
Selective perception.
And yeah, 100%.
Not only that, but
Maybe.
Usually when people are changing their team, they're like, there's like a subtle influence of whatever's relevant in the game going on right now. So you're like, oh, well, Frieza just got his Zenkai. Let me try out the LOE team. And then a bunch of other people are doing the same thing, right? They're like getting out of their normal team to try out whatever's new or whatever has been subtly altered by the new stuff that did come out. So that could be part of it. But yeah, I mean, you always notice when you mirror match a lot. Like, it stands out because it's so annoying. Like, I hate mirror... And that's for me in any fighting game. Like, I just dislike identical mirror matching when you queue up an opponent and they're doing the same exact thing you're doing. Because it's just
Because you don't have an excuse when you lose, right?
It's not so much that. It's just like, I sometimes... Well, not with Legends specifically because the way the camera's set up. But in, like, 2D fighting games, I'll, like, lose perspective of which one I am and stuff a lot on the screen. So it's just kind of carried over to every fighting game where I just like mirror matching. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's what they said about perception, where when you, I know that for a fact because I drive a Subaru, and when you drive a Subaru in my city, like everyone else that drives a Subaru, we all wave at each other, even if you have no idea who the hell that person is. It's just called the Subaru wave. And if you're not driving that car, you don't notice the car, you don't notice people doing that, it has nothing to do with that. But then once you're in that hemisphere, you start noticing it. Like, why the fuck? I just bought this car, I'm driving around, everyone's waving at me. Like, what the hell's going on? And then,
the Subaru wave.
Yeah, it's the Subi squad, and everyone just waves at each other. Like, throws a peace sign out.
I don't know. The other dude that has the same car as me in my town, his car's like way better than mine, and it's like, all right, cool. So I don't wave to him.
Yeah, I think it's just a perception thing, but every time I switch my teams and switch to hybrids, I run into blue, purple. It's like basically every time.
Dude, I feel the same.
We should keep track of that or something. Somebody should make notes over an entire season. Maybe I'll do that, of like what you run into when you change teams up.
Just screenshot
Dude, I thought about recording my Rising Rushes and seeing just how many times my opponent picks Strike, Blast, Special, whatever, and see what is the correct answer.
Bro, you're going to turn into like a football coach sitting there at like 2 o'clock in the morning like, no, he's going to pick Blast in this one.
Because he sidesteps twice, so he picks Blast.
Well, because it's that same thing, right? You going through and he's like, oh man, I always pick Blast, so they always call me on this freaking Blast card. I'm gonna hit the Strike cards and Strike, and you're just like, I want to flip a freaking table. And it's like, yeah, so it's just that moment, right? And so I have a feeling it's just much of the same thing.
Bro, I was Blastical for a long time, dog.
Dude, strikes. Do not pick strikes for Rising Rush. I always get guessed when I pick strikes for.
Like, yeah, but that's why everybody knows to pick Strike, and they're gonna pick your Blast now. And correct.
It's just kind of flip flopping back and forth, depending on what's in style right now.
It's complete strategy, man.
And then people just come and pick the green card, and you're just completely like, damn.
Yeah, I hate that. I hate when I use like 2 green cards, and then I pick a green card, and they match me, and I'm like, bro, who would think I have 3 green cards?
Yeah.
No, my favorite is to use a main ability that gives you a blue card and then rush them and pick blue. And they're thinking, obviously, this idiot wouldn't be picking blue.
Nope, I picked blue.
He picks blue.
That's just, it's a 50-50. Sometimes they do it and sometimes they don't.
Right.
It's RNG.
It's always the red. When you think they're going to pick blue and they don't, it's always just some simple-ass red card. And you're like, God, why did I fall for this bait? This obvious bait. Then you never know. You never know.
I hate Rush.
Yeah, me too. I think they just remove the choice from it. Like, keep everything else the same, whatever. Just remove the picking. I hate it, but whatever.
All right, I think we can skip the next question just because we already talked about the whole friendship rank thingy. But I would like to do one more question from Ant. And their question is, do you guys think they should remove CC from PvP ranked rewards? I know they will get backlash, but the CC rewards are the sole reason why there's lag in hackers. I think it would be better and increase other rewards such as Z-Power to promote healthier PvP. What do you think?
No, that's not.
That's not the reason. It lags because it's just based off of Google Cloud servers, and it'd be connecting me to somebody in like South America and stuff. Like, there's nothing. The way the queue's set up is designed for Japan because that's where it works optimally. When they apply it to the rest of the world, it still works, but it's like a bicycle with kind of square-shaped tires, comparatively speaking. Yeah, you could ride it, but it's not optimal. Like,
the main reason why they even have crystals in PvP is so that people play PvP. Yeah, if they took crystals away from PvP, guess what? People just wouldn't play it.
No one is playing that nonsense. No one is doing that.
Yeah, well, they need to keep the servers populated, and to keep people in there. And the other main way they do that is by having PvP not cost any type of energy. Meanwhile, all of PvE has the weird, stupid energy system, right? Because they want you to fill those lobbies and keep people in there playing. So that's why they slanted. And for him saying Z-Power, I mean, all the old timers in here, remember, they did give Z-Power back in the day. Like, you could grind up the blue EX Goku Extreme. All the way to 7 stars back in the day just by winning. And what that did was that actually encouraged more people to cheat because they wanted to grind the unit out and have the character. Like 1,000 CC as a reward is like one chance at potentially maybe getting lucky on a banner, but otherwise it's just like, okay, now I need to go. It's supposed to tease you, so you're like, oh, I summoned and I didn't get lucky, or I got one copy, now I need more, so let me go drain my wallet and buy crystals to keep summoning, right? Like, it's enough crystals to just bait you into, the people that will pay, that'll bait them into, coughing over some money, as Nalar would explain it. So that's a psychological reason as well why they give chrono crystals, but not a lot of them, so it helps encourage people to actually start spending money if they're at all willing or on the fence. So I don't know. Having characters in Z-Power in there gave more incentive to cheat, and removing chrono crystals would give no incentive to play. So
I think already we see on the equipment medal seasons there is a very unsavory practice where people grind to but pretty much BR50 and they purposely lose so they can just farm equipment medals up and down the rank ladder. I don't know if they've already done something indirectly to approach this, but I'm pretty sure I run into it every season. And so increasing the PvP rewards is tricky. I've long campaigned that I would love for them to make it to where, you get the co-op medals and stuff for doing co-op. I would love that from PvP on the condition that I win. I think lost rewards promotes cheating and bad behavior. And I think match-based rewards are far more healthier than an end-of-season reward. You're trying to promote people to go into PvP, and if you can sit down and do 10 matches and it equates to, grinding the latest event for a little bit of time, I think that would be good stuff. But
yeah, I agree with that. I've actually said that before.
The problem with having rewards based on winning is that people will just cheat. Like, they'll draw hack you forever.
Yeah, the draw hacking... I have been able to confirm that some of the players that have gone for number one used alternate accounts that they hacked up to the top, and that's why they exist, right? They're just feeding themselves wins. The queue gets so refined that they can send their own army of, blue stack bots in to go do that. So they don't care about getting banned. They certainly are not doing it for 1,000 chrono crystals. That's the least of their concerns. So
they're like the people in Call of Duty that hack up to like 99 million whatever score and just stay at the top of the leaderboard, just have their name plastered there.
Not even that, man. In Legends, legitimate players were having alternate accounts, that because how many times in the old queue system you'd PvP, you'd find that guy with a ridiculous amount of RP, then it's payday, baby. He's going to disconnect and you're getting 120 RP.
Yeah.
So what happened is people had several of these accounts and they were sending them up and they were feeding themselves wins, and so they were cheating the original rank titles, and you can't really blame someone for running into a cheater.
True.
And so
it's hard to detect then who is the actual benefactor from this, right?
When we see draw hackers,
the only thing is, like, this is never going to be solved until the developers find a better way to identify who's cheating and who's not.
Yeah.
Because if they can't tell if somebody's cheating or not, and they're not sure of it, then they're not going to do anything against your account. They're only going to take action against you if they know that you're cheating, or they have like substantial evidence to back up that you're cheating. So until they're able to identify who's doing it with more certainty than they have right now, like doing rewards based off of like winning and stuff like that, I don't think is a good idea, because people are just going to be more incentivized to draw hack and use mods and stuff like that. So
yeah, I agree with that. Now, whether or not they could add other little subtle things like the ability to, I don't know, get little rewards here and there when you play, like, oh, maybe you win and you get like, oh, here's 10 Zenkai souls, or here's 5 super souls, or something. I don't know. They could add little stuff here and there, but nothing. They can't add enough to the point where it over incentivizes people to cheat, like Grish said. But I don't think they should take away anything either, because it seems like people are barely struggling to hold on in some cases.
So you want to say something, Prof?
No, I was just going to say, you see a 2,000 Chrono Crystal season, and you can definitely see the toxicity levels increase. And so
for sure. Yeah,
I wanted to say that because I had already said that, most people aren't cheating for 1,000. They seem to be willing to cheat for 2. So I don't like those seasons. I do for myself great Chrono Crystals, but it is very toxic. So I do want to acknowledge that. But there's no happy answer right now for anybody. So as Legresh said, until they really can hone in on who's doing this and how they're doing it, no, they've got to just kind of leave it as is.
All right. I think with that, we're going to close today's podcast. Again, make sure to follow us on all our social media accounts. Just type !Linktree in the chat. Also, follow all our creators on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube. You're definitely not going to be disappointed in most of them, because there's also me. With that said, we hope that we'll see you again next week. You have a good rest of your week, and this podcast will premiere as usual about 24 hours from now. And this is 5-9 signing off. Have a good rest of your day. And Nas, do we have anything on Twitch lined up for this afternoon?
I do believe there's quite a few things. First and foremost, hopefully next week we'll have more information about the 1,000 days for the podcast as well. But today on 100%. Twitch, what?
As I said, 100% it's going to happen this week.
Yeah, so we'll have a lot of juicy stuff to talk about. 4 p.m. Troko will be playing Rust. 7 p.m. Genshin stream. And then 10 p.m. myself / Nate / Truth have a block, because Gresh, you could be more well informed about this, but isn't something coming tonight in Doken?
Yeah, Doken is going to drop some stuff tonight.
The
you corrected to be worse.
Yeah, I had to correct myself to the incorrectness. But what time? What do you think is going on with that?
People are saying 10 p.m. Eastern time that they're going to show the information on Twitter, which is when there's nothing actually in game tonight. Maybe there's a download tonight. There could be. I'm not really 100% sure. It's a high chance there's going to be some action tonight for Doken, so stay around for that if you want to.
Yeah, so I'm sure Truth will come in and take over for all that to keep y'all informed there, but me and Nate or whoever else will be playing something in the meantime. Maybe Gresh, you play more 1,000 Year Door, or are you busy tonight?
No, I'm pretty open tonight.
So yeah, maybe he can take the slot until Doken takes over for its madness. But yeah, I think that's about it. We have stuff going on all afternoon. So hopefully some of y'all who aren't busy or looking for something to do will be able to stick around, and that's a good reason to hit the follow button if you haven't already, so you can get the notifications every time we pop back on again. Because we'd like to try and stay live pretty much 24/7 or as close to it as possible. So we would love to see you join the crew. So other than that, I think we're pretty much good to wrap up episode 21 here. It sucks that episode 21 didn't line up to be about Android 21. We were like 3 weeks off of that being a reality.
Better luck next time, huh?
All right.
Is there an Android 22?
Right. I think it says Nanogenics is live. Can we raid into Nano?
Yeah, Nano's live.
All right, chat. We're gonna raid into Nanogenics, and we will see you on the next stream.